Hello and welcome to the Minster School this evening. My name's Ben Chaloner and I'm head teacher here and I'm proud to be leader of this great organisation. So the Minster School, it dates itself back to approximately 956 AD. Originally it was a school for the choristers, and obviously that's a tradition that we maintain today and something that's really important, especially through our junior school. It's a school that caters for students from year 3 right through to year 13. We have about 1,600 students here, with 40 of those in our junior school, which is a very special and pretty unique place, to be honest, where it provides an education for students based on them having excellent musical aptitude and then a musical rich curriculum through their time here. As the school progresses from years 7 to 11, it's the local comprehensive school with around 240 students in each year group there. And then we have a sixth form of around 400 students, mainly studying A-levels. We're really proud to be a Church of England Academy and also part of the Minster Trust for Education. Our work here across this school is underpinned by our ethos of succeeding together and those virtues of wisdom, optimism, resilience, kindness and service. Tonight, I'm joined by Rob Burns, who's our head of our junior school, Hannah Wallis-Windle, who's a director of music, and Paul Provost, the Rector Chori from the Cathedral. This is an opportunity for you to ask some questions that you might have for us. You should see on the right of your screen a tab where you can type those questions in and submit them through to us, and we will do our best to answer those questions live on stream, or we might, if it's an individual concern, type back an answer to you there. To begin tonight, though, I'm going to hand over to Rob Burns, who will introduce himself and introduce around the juniors. Thank you.
Hello, good evening. I'm Rob Burns and I'm head of juniors at the Minster School. It's a wonderful place to work and I'm really proud to be head of the junior school. We offer some fantastic opportunities for our students, and we offer a very rich and varied curriculum. We follow the national curriculum for maths and English, and we're very proud of our outcomes in the national test, where we always exceed the national expectations. The children come into school from 8:30 every morning, and we study English and mathematics, just like most primary schools really, and we tend to do this when the children are feeling more fresh and just have a lot more energy really. We're really proud of our reading and writing, and we have a real emphasis on this in the mornings. We then go on to study mathematics and numeracy before moving on to the more practical aspects of the curriculum in the afternoon. And again, we're really lucky at the Minster School to be well supported by colleagues in the main school. So children have a variety of opportunities to work with curriculum specialists for science, for technology, for modern foreign languages, for IT, and of course music. Being a Church of England school, we have a real emphasis on our links with the Cathedral, which we're very proud to be connected with. The children study RE every week and are well supported by a school chaplain who comes in twice a week to lead assemblies. The children learn in their RE lessons about stories about Jesus. They learn about inspirational people and the importance of prayer. And again, what a wonderful opportunity for our students to really have a rich and diverse curriculum. I'm going to hand over to my colleague Paul Provost, who's the Rector Chori at the Cathedral, to talk a little bit about the choristers.
Hello, my name is Paul Provost and I'm the Rector Chori at the Cathedral, which job is an absolute delight, but the words Rector Chori probably don't mean very much. I'm essentially the Director of Music at the Cathedral, which means that I have the remarkably excellent task of working with these choristers whom you've heard about a little bit. And what is a chorister? I think is an important thing actually to address because not everybody's certain. Well, our choristers are boys and girls who sing at services in the Cathedral, and they do this with quite a lot of frequency. They sing throughout the week and at weekends. We're really proud to be linked to the Minster School. It's a historic link. It goes back a very long way, as you've already heard. In fact, the Minster School came out of the school for the choristers. So all of our choristers, a set of boys and a set of girls, come here for their education. And in particular, those in years 3 to 6 make up a large portion of the junior school. And it's a great environment for these young singers to really flourish, to learn their craft. We've got a fantastic team over at the Cathedral. I'm at the head of that. We also have one of my colleagues is the Assistant Director of Music. We have an organ scholar, and we all muck in and teach music theory, sight reading, and vocal technique. We're supported by vocal tutors. And we are supported also by 2 members of pastoral staff. So it's really quite a team. The choristers are an amazing group in themselves. Although they're 2 separate groups of boys and girls, they do also mix together occasionally, and they really enjoy doing that. They're great teams. They learn teamwork, they learn responsibility, they learn an awful lot about growing up and looking after themselves and being independent, and that's something we're really keen on, in addition to all of their music. And the great thing is that we can make sure that what they're doing at the Cathedral and what they're doing at school all works together, because they're all in the same place through the day, and then when they come to us, they've all been together doing the same things. And that link means that we all talk together as members of staff as well, to make sure that everybody is really well looked after and we know exactly what's going on. Well, there are a couple of questions I've got already that I think it might be just worth investigating here. When do choristers rehearse? And that's really important question. Choristers rehearse 4 mornings of the week. We don't sing on a Wednesday. We don't actually do anything with choristers on a Wednesday at all. But the other 4 days, they come into school normally for an 8 o'clock rehearsal in the morning. Now, personally, I find 8 o'clock a little bit early, but we do find that it's when they're at their most fresh, and we get a lot done in that time before school. That's especially important for new Year 3 choristers, because this is when they're learning absolutely everything about what they do, and so they're learning the very first steps in singing, sight singing, all of those sorts of things. We also have rehearsals after school, and before any service at which a chorister might sing, there is always a rehearsal, because we also have our professional adult singers that make up the lower parts of the choir, so it's a full choir. And so we rehearse with them, of course, because they're professionals. They only come in just a little bit before the service. So we have a moment when we all come together and put things together, and that's the real sort of magic of it. So what happens in the afternoons? Well, we have to move between various different sites. We've got practice rooms over here at school. We also have some practice rooms over at the Cathedral, as well as the Cathedral itself, in which we sing services. Whenever we go from one place to another, there are always members of staff, and so we do, I suppose, like a walking bus really, from one place to another. And this does happen actually in all weathers, and I can honestly say in my time here, we've only really had terrible weather on a few occasions. We seem to be very lucky with how that works when we're moving choristers from one place to another. We're very clear with parents about where to be and when they need to be there, so there's no confusion. Everybody knows what should be happening, and we do make sure that our schedule is shared with school, so everybody at school should also know what's happening. So we're all very joined up. Well, if there are any more questions that come up, we'll answer them later. But I think in the meantime, I'm going to hand you over to the Director of Music at School, Hannah Wallis-Windle.
Hello, my name is Hannah Wallis-Windle, and as Mr. Provost said, I'm the Director of Music here at the school. I have a couple of questions here that particularly relate to the music curriculum and the musical opportunities here at the Minsters. So the first one is, do students have to learn a particular instrument in the junior school? Now, when students come to us, they often have played an instrument previously, or they may enjoy singing. For information, we do actually include the voice as an instrument. So when we're talking about instrumental lessons or instrumental tuition, that does very much include the voice. We really encourage junior students to play the piano. That's our first thing. We really think this helps them to build up a harmonic understanding and sets them in a really good position for further musical study. So whilst we don't make that an absolute requirement, we do strongly suggest that students do have piano lessons. Some students already have lessons outside of school, and that's absolutely fine. We strongly encourage students to continue that where that works well. But we do also offer instrumental lessons in school, and therefore piano lessons in school. Alongside that, where possible, we encourage students to play an orchestral instrument. Now, for many students, that's a really great opportunity to often learn a new instrument or continue their study in an instrument that they've already been playing. Now, for the choristers, we don't make that such a strong recommendation. They often have their hands full already with rehearsals and services at the Minster, but we do encourage students to be as rounded as possible in their musical making. Alongside that, we do offer orchestral sessions within the curriculum. So learning an orchestral instrument sort of allows students to fully participate in that. At the heart of everything, we do so much singing. We really encourage students to sing as much as possible. Whether they're choristers or not, we have a lot of singing within the curriculum, and there are plenty of opportunities for students to develop their voice as well as their instrumental studies. Another question I have here is, are there any ensembles students can be involved in? We are a very large music department. We're very fortunate in that, and we offer many extracurricular opportunities across the board and across the year groups. The juniors is slightly different. Our juniors have 4 hours of music lessons a week, and they have that through instrumental and vocal tuition, through choir rehearsals, and they're separate choir rehearsals to those that Mr. Provost was talking about across at the Minster. We have school choir rehearsals within the school day for the juniors. We have orchestra rehearsals, and then we have curriculum music as well. So there we study things like composition and listening, sometimes some chamber music. But therefore, each week, students will have an ensemble rehearsal for choir and for orchestra. We then sporadically have other opportunities that students might want to be involved in after school, or during their lunch times. That can sometimes be some composition clubs, music technology, and that varies as the school year sort of goes on, really. We're always open to exploring options for our junior students, and sometimes they come to us with some ideas for ensembles, and we do our best to kind of facilitate those where we're able to. We have a question here, which is, with regards to the audition video this year being recorded, does the recording need to be a single take, or if multiple instruments are being played, can a number of videos be submitted and edited together? The answer to that is we really don't mind. Whatever is going to be the easiest for that to happen at home. It's slightly easier for us to have one video, so if they can be edited together, then that's great, but there is no requirement for that to be one sort of continuous video. The one thing we do say about all the auditions is we just want to see as much as possible from each student. So if they play multiple instruments, or and again including the voice, we want to hear that. And even if that is something that's been relatively new to the child, then we would suggest that you take every opportunity to show us what students can do. The audition itself is about musical aptitude. We're looking for the potential that students have. There is not a requirement for them to be at a particular level or have a particular amount of experience, but we just want to see everything that they can offer to show their passion, their enjoyment, and their aptitude for music. So just to summarise, it doesn't need to be one continuous video. One video edited together is particularly helpful, but it is whatever is easiest at home, really.
So one of them was around moving to year 7. I don't know if you've heard me before, but how would that work? So although you're looking now to secure a place in year 3, what that means is once you're part of the Minster School, you will remain part of the Minster School as long as you wish to. So when it gets to year 6, you automatically will have a place into the school in year 7. And then we will do our transition work as if we were carrying on as if it's a different, a separate school, like the work that we normally do, where you'll get to meet the staff in the main school and obviously work with our pastoral team. One of the important things around it all is your child will be very much at home in the Minster School already. In times when COVID isn't the case, obviously, in those times you will be your child would normally move around school, will go to certain areas of school for particular lessons, including specialist PE lessons, including going up to the maths corridor for maths lessons as they get older through the junior department. Another question that's often asked is, do you have to be a chorister to attend the Minster School Junior Department? Well, if you're a chorister, I guess you have to come to the Minster School, but if you come to the Minster School, you don't necessarily have to be a chorister, although that would be something we would really encourage. It really complements the music tuition you have in school, working alongside people like Paul at the cathedral. It's a heritage, like we said, that's made it really important to both the cathedral and us that we keep that linkage together throughout our time here. I'm going to hand back over to Mr. Burns now, because there's some particular questions around the curriculum in the junior schools.
One of the questions we've had in this evening is, are we able to visit junior school at the moment? And the answer is yes. Ordinarily, we'd love to show you around during the working day when the school's busy and vibrant. Unfortunately, at the moment, due to COVID, we can't show people around until after 4 o'clock, when most of our students have left school for the day. But we strongly recommend that you contact our admissions officer and book a tour, because we'd love to show you our facilities and some of the fantastic things that we've got on offer. We can talk a little bit more about the curriculum. Do feel free to bring your child along, and we look forward to seeing you very soon. I'm going to hand back to Mr. Chaloner. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Rob. Thank you very much. Sorry for that. I suppose really we've probably covered all the questions we've got at the moment, but I know that some of you watching might have some others that you would like to ask. If you do put them through into the system on the right hand side of the screen, we can then do our best to answer those for you. What we will do while you have a little chance to think, if we just put the holding screen on, give you 5 minutes to have a conversation at home, and if there's anything you'd like to publish in that time, then do, and then we'll come back to you in 5 minutes time. Okay.
Hello again. We've had a question through just a little bit for a little bit more detail about the audition and the dates and the timeline and everything around that. The dates for applications is the 15th of January. Following that date, anyone who has applied will receive information regarding the audition process that we have. Now, during this time of COVID, we have done that as an online thing. That worked very successfully for the last set of auditions, and so we're going to be following a similar situation for these ones. That process, there are two parts to it, ultimately. Number one is submitting an audition video. The word audition feels a little bit misleading, really. It's an opportunity for us to see what the students can do in terms of their performance. So it doesn't have to be kind of a big stressful thing. This is just about us seeing what students can do in terms of their performance. So as I mentioned before, we would encourage students to show every aspect of their musicianship. So whether it's singing, playing any instruments that they might do. That bit gets submitted to the school. And then an arrangement is made for Mr. Provost and myself to hear each of the students with some kind of oral tests. Now, they're not things that need a lot of preparation. They are tests that are specifically designed to just get a bit of a picture of students' kind of musicality, their natural musicianship. So they're questions such as, is one note higher than another or lower than another? And they will be played examples of those notes, played examples of short phrases to sing back and other such things. There are actually some examples of those on the school website so that parents and students can kind of get an idea of what that process is like. So those are the two main aspects of the audition, and following the January the 15th, which is the deadline for applications, further information on times and dates will be shared about those. If any further questions kind of come up after today's event about that process, please do contact admissions. And as Mr. Burns said earlier, one of the best ways to kind of become familiar with the school and the department is to come and visit it. So we really would encourage you to make one of those appointments after the school students have gone home. Just to give us a little bit more information about the choristers and the application process there, I'm just going to hand over to Mr. Provost. Thank you.
So I'm often asked a number of questions about admissions with relation to choristers, and the big one, of course, is to do with, well, is there any difference in the way that admissions works for choristers? And the answer to that is no, not at all. And in fact, if you think of it as actually an audition into the school first, and then becoming a chorister as part of that, that's absolutely the right way to think of things. I'm asked specifically quite often about, is there anything in particular that a chorister needs to do at an audition? Well, the answer to that is yes, they need to sing, but that's really as far as it goes. We do have a suggestion, which is a well-known hymn, This Joyful Eastertide, which has been sung for years and years in chorister auditions. And the benefit of that is it gives a suggestion if you might be feeling unsure as to what sort of thing to pick. It's something which can be sung accompanied or unaccompanied, and it can be put into any key to demonstrate best the student's vocal range, because really that's the thing we'd love to hear. We love to hear their voice, just as for an instrumentalist, we love to hear what they can do on their instrument, and that's it. That's what we're really after. I must say, I always say that the auditions day at the junior school is one of my absolute highlights of the year, because it's a really enjoyable occasion to meet families, to meet these prospective students, and to hear what they have to offer. We like to think that it's a very warm occasion, and really we do all just enjoy seeing what these children can do. And from a musician's perspective, seeing a musical child walk into a room and perform to people whom they've never met before is an absolute delight, and to see the sort of confidence that comes with that, and it's always an affirming sort of occasion. So in short, if you're considering a choristership, much like with junior school, where absolutely you must go and see it, book a tour, absolutely do, you can do the same with us. Southall Minster is a wonderful building. The cathedral itself is fantastic. There are other areas that we use to sing in, to rehearse in, which are utterly beautiful spaces as much as anything else. And we love showing people around. And it's possible to come and see what we do musically as well. So do please get in touch if you're at all interested. All my details are on the Minster website, so you'll be able to find those. So I'm just going to pass back over to Mr. Chaloner.
Thank you, Hannah. Thank you for this evening. I think we've thank you very much. We're really proud of each year. We're very proud of the students that we see them work through the junior school, at the end of year 13 onto their future studies, and often still into a musical career, musical studies at our school. So thank you for listening. As I said, it is important to, as much as you can these times, to come and have a look around the school, and Mr. Burns is more than willing to do those tours. As I said, they are after school at the moment due to restrictions. But from us this evening, soon when you're a child, our school.